Hi everyone. In my to-do MVC that uses GraphQL to communicate from the client to the backend, I intercept the post request to the GraphQL endpoint. And I'm looking at the operation name in the request body object because that's what GraphQL client that I use. This allows me to set an alias on my intercept dynamically, and then I can wait for specific GraphQL operation, add to do. And then I'm using this alias to confirm request and response. Now this is good, but first of all, these aliases do not reflect in the UI, and also this requires some code. Wouldn't be cool if there were a simpler way to intercept a specific GraphQL operation? Fortunately, there is one. If I look at my GraphQL client that runs in my web application, right now it's pretty standard. I'm using Apollo client. I'm requesting everything from localhost 3000, and that's pretty much it. So here's what I will do next. From Apollo client, I can import another class called HTTP link, because really we're creating a series of links that will process outgoing requests. So instead of saying go always to localhost 3000, I will create an HTTP link and put the URL there. So I'll remove it from here. And instead of URI, I'll just say link and I'll say HTTP link. So let's see if this works. So right now works exactly the same way as before. And all we're saying, we're very explicit now, we're saying Apollo client, use this HTTP link. Now, if we can just send request over HTTP, we can also modify the outgoing request before we send it to HTTP link. So here's how we do it. In addition to HTTP link, I'll include Apollo link from Apollo client, and I will create another link. So this is Apollo link. It will get the operation, which is outgoing GraphQL, and here's where it has access to the headers object. So we can modify the outgoing request, and we can set the operation name as a custom operation name header. Okay, and all we have to do is to connect those links, and we'll use concat, and we'll say operation link, and this concat also comes from Apollo client. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, so it seems to work. Now let's inspect the network tab, rerun the test. So we have 3 GraphQL requests. Let's click on the first one. Okay, and our request headers now have this additional header. So this was all to-dos, and this should be add to-do. Perfect. So we added a header to each outgoing GraphQL request. Now we can go back to our test, and instead of dynamically setting alias, we can say, okay, so whenever someone does a request to the method pos URL / right? Also look at the headers. And if someone uses, what was that? Let me run it again. So the first request to localhost, right? So if someone uses this request, this header, right? All to-dos, then give it an alias as all to-dos, okay? And if someone uses add to-do, then we will give it a different alias, right away. Let's see if this works. And it does work. So we have explicitly defined 2 interceptors. We matching on URL, on an HTTP method, and on a custom header. And we're giving it an alias, and the routes table now correctly reflects how many times each intercept was used, right? And we see the aliases in a command log, which is what I wanted. So this is how you can use a custom header that you set in your Apollo client from operation name to intercept different types of HTTP requests your application is making to the GraphQL endpoint.